Sometimes in life, the dog bites. In my case, literally. But it also set me on an unexpected journey to joy. Join us from Little Joy as we share stories of, well, joy. Because after all, Joy is my middle name. Really. Hi, this is Allison Joy, the host of Joy is My Middle Name. And that's what we're going to talk about today. The joy that comes from within, from knowing who you are and knowing your purpose and being brave and standing up for what's right. And I'm already emotional and we're already starting. I just think today is such an impactful conversation and it's so important. And it's kind of like being near your hero. So with that, I want to introduce everyone to this incredible woman. Her name is Margot Stacy. I am such a fan and just in awe of her and everything that she does. But if you don't live in Dallas or you live under a rock, basically what happened, just a quick summary, is she took a stand and she did an Instagram post about some things that were happening at the coffee shop she worked at about ICE agents. And it wasn't okay, and she recognized it, and she took a stand, and not only did she leave, many of her employees left with her. And it caused this beautiful ripple effect in the community, which we're gonna talk about. And with that, she's sitting right here next to me. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started because I wanna talk to you already. So Margot, welcome to
Hi.
Joy is My Middle Name.
Thank you for having me. This is it's unreal to be here, to be talking to you, and to like all this be happening after so much chaos. So
I know.
I feel very calm, and I feel like this is like where I need to be.
Okay, well, we have our tissues because I feel like you inspire me so much that I will get emotional today, but that's okay.
It's okay. We both have tissues.
Yeah.
There's enough for all of us.
There's enough. There's enough
Production
to go.
team too.
Yeah, they're ready. They're here. Okay, so how we met was almost like a blind hello on Instagram, because you wrote this beautiful post and I didn't know you at all, but I could feel you in that post and I could feel who you were as a person. And I said, I just want to meet you. And it was almost like a blind date. I was like, hi, do you want to be my friend?
I know. That's the beauty of Instagram and social media.
Yeah.
You can find people with such similar interests, not just interests, but like your heart is the same, and you can connect so quickly over that. And I'm just glad you reached out. So.
Well, I was like,
I felt very alone.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking in my head, I was like, she's probably getting a billion messages of support and love. Like, I don't even know if you'll see this, but I remember sitting on the couch and being like, I have to reach out to you. And that's very rare. It's happened a couple times in my life with usually all women. Yeah. When I'm like, I just need to be in their orbit. And that's how I felt about you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because people had been telling me about Little Joy and been telling me about you specifically. And so when you reached out, I just felt it was kismet, because it was everything aligning in the right way. Like me being put and you being put in like the right people's lives, and finding a connection that would spur off so much more beauty. And that was like really important to me. And I felt that immediately with you through your messages.
Well, shout out to Jason and John. They're our neighbors and best friends. They sent it to me first. And I was like, hi, I have to be your friend.
I still can't believe like the traction that had, because it wasn't out of anger. It was just out of just this overwhelming sense to like not just tell my story, but to tell a story that people don't know. Yeah. And so to see how quickly it caught on, and to see how, because a lot of the people who I'm around and stuff aren't really in Dallas. I feel very disconnected a lot of times. So to see how quickly it hit the community and how quickly the community reached out to me and others was really amazing. And it made me feel, for the first time in a very long time, like very connected in Dallas, and very, I could see the community for what it was.
Have you ever like spoken out or like taken a stand before?
I feel like that's my entire life, is I'm just very outspoken. And so my opinion is not something that people are not used to hearing. So, but in this regard, I feel when something's close to my heart, I speak on it, because I think it's important to hear those stories. I think it's important because a lot of times people are feeling those things, or are going through similar situations, but feel they have no power. They feel disenfranchised. They feel like it's not up to them. So this was the first time I think I made such a loud stand, one that had such like direct impact, and was heard so commonly, you know, so, like with such strength. I don't know. It was one of those things that just felt right, and I knew to do it. But I think in the back of my head, like in my spirit, I knew that people were feeling the same way.
Yeah.
So it felt like not just me saying it, me speaking up, me taking a stand. It felt like a lot of people, like a community doing it. And that was what was important to me.
So you say you've been in Dallas and you haven't felt that sense of community before.
Yeah.
What do you think was it about, like, this message, this time, like you having your voice amplified in such a way? Do you think people in Dallas were ready for it this time? Or what do you think, just in your past of being an activist and speaking up in the past?
Yeah, I mean, I do think people feel more and more as we watch like the world kind of burn around us, and we watch such harm happening on such a like massive scale. I think it was one of those things that people have wanted to say, and people wanted to feel that this galvanizing moment where it felt like we have power.
Yeah.
Dallas is just, you know, we all know how Dallas is. It's sprawling, it's disparate. There's every thread feels like maybe like completely disconnected, even those times where you maybe feel woven into your community.
Yeah.
And so I really felt that the reason I felt it was because everyone else was feeling it. That's why I like the narrative of being like a hero or anything like that. I mean, I just kind of inadvertently became the face of this thing.
Yeah.
But I never felt that I was only representing myself. I felt like I was representing a lot of frustration and anger and people's feelings of, I feel like collectively in our hearts we always are, but more like now, because things have become so strained, I feel like we're all screaming for liberation and for equality and for just respect and dignity. So yeah, it felt like I was amplifying a lot of people's voices, and I just did it my own way, which was fun.
Well, it was incredible, and I want to talk more about that and how it's impacted the ripple effect you've had. Mm-hmm. But I want to talk really quick about like hero. Like I use that word. Like that's when I talk about you to my friends. That's how I view you.
That means a lot. I don't even know how to comprehend it. Like people have been saying it to me, and it doesn't get past a certain level because I don't understand it. Like not in a bad way. I just like can't think of myself that way. So.
It's beautiful. It shows like what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
Just like, yep, got it. Let's go. Keep going. Let's keep doing the work. Because we do have a lot of work to do.
So much work.
Yes, and I want to talk about that too.
Okay.
But this message in particular, I know you had just gone to New York. Like it's ringing bells almost across the country. And it's not only here in Dallas, but I've been thinking about this a lot. It's almost like in the South, we're supposed to feel a certain way or do a certain thing, and who we have in leaders in our country and especially our state. And it's like, sometimes it feels like they just want to cause us harm.
Yeah.
And they want to hurt people all the time, and people in the trans community, and they just want to hurt. And it just unearthed some hope for me, and I don't think I've felt hope in a really long time.
That means a lot to me.
It did. Yeah. And I just wonder if like that at that time when we were all snowed in and we just had time to feel hope.
Yeah.
And it just, I didn't know if you've ever like reflected on it. I know you don't feel like a hero, but.
No, I think for the last year at least, specifically as a trans woman in Dallas in Texas, you know, you're faced with this onslaught of political ire and targeting that a lot of it is existential, you know, a lot of it is policy and things that might not quite meet you just yet in real life. But as you watch it happen, you aren't just angry, you're sad, you just want to be free. You want the people who are like you, your family, whoever it is, your friends, you want people to not have to wake up and worry about things that are so trivialized politically. And yeah, I mean, reflecting on it, I've been wondering for longer than a year, but specifically with the administration and how active, like, not just federal government, but state government has been in targeting people like me. I've been wondering for so long, like, what can I do? That started with me building with my team at the coffee shop, like building a coalition of people that reflected not just me and my values, but that communal, like reflected communal values.
Yeah.
And so it was very important to me to find if people were going to work, and if people were going to work in a service industry where they're public interfacing, talking with customers all day that they don't know who they are, I at least want them to work with me, where I can keep them safe and we can band together, you know?
Yeah.
And so it starts on those little things. But when all of this presented itself and I was thinking of like, how do I respond to this? Do I be quiet and like pull back to the shadows and just do what I'm told? Or do I do what I usually do and, you know, scream against it, you know, rail against it and speak my mind? Because I knew I wasn't just speaking my mind. Again, I was speaking the people that I manage. I was speaking my families, my friends, people that I adore and love, and have been leading for a long time. I was speaking for all of them. And it was finally the moment where I felt complete peace about an action. I always feel such anxiety about being loud, you know, because I don't want to bother any. I mean, I don't mind bothering people, but it is one of those things where you don't know what's going to come of it, you know, and I don't want to endanger myself or others, but at some point you have to just throw it back. You know, you can't keep, we're not meant to, like, we're resilient, but we're not meant to take all that terror constantly. So yeah, I mean, it did finally feel like this was a moment in time that I felt who I am and who I've become over the years. That was like, this is the time where it makes most sense for me to be me.
Joy is My Middle Name is now streaming on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Sometimes I think we're doing our thing, right? We're like, I'm gonna be intentional in my life. I wanna be intentional in my votes. I wanna be intentional in my money. I wanna be intentional in who I hire and what I create. And I know you're the same way. That's why we're kindred spirits.
Yes, exactly.
But sometimes you forget the ripple effect that it has. And then at the end of the day, it's like, oh my gosh, like this was a big, big thing, but like think of all the ripples that are happening. Yeah. And for us in particular, you inspired me so much that we didn't want to just say, okay, we'll do a give back like we normally do every month.
Right.
We pick a different nonprofit and do 10% of sales for the day. And I think we worked with 9 last year, 1 every month, and we did it. We donated to the Trevor Project, and we've done a lot of local. This one felt different. And I told my husband, I was like, we have been closed for 4 days. We ain't gonna make any money. You know, like we're gonna be hurting this month.
It's a weird week. It was like a really,
right?
So many angles.
Yes. And I was like, but I wanna do 100% of profits. And Russ looked at me and he was like, okay, all right, I trust you. And we just did it. And knowing that like, this doesn't make sense from a business perspective, but it's like kind of to that ripple effect, it's like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It like literally doesn't matter. Like we're gonna do 100% and give to Vecinos Unidos, which we did.
Right.
The community showed up. It was the craziest day I've ever seen in here.
That's amazing.
I cried all day. I just, okay. Waits were forever. Like people were out the door, but just to see people who'd never come in here before.
Yeah.
Ever. They were like, y'all are wild, but I want to see what you're doing.
I really love that because I think for me, in the moment, as we've like talked about it, even now, reflecting on it, it felt very insulated of an action. You know, I knew it would have an effect. I knew it would have an effect on the company we worked for. I knew it would have an effect on like my staff's lives because they were putting themselves further into precarity to like do what they believe in.
Yeah.
But when you reached out and we started having very intentional conversations from the get-go, I was really impressed with your heart because it wasn't just about feeling a part of a part of a movement or anything like that. You saw what was teed up for you because of that. And I think you led with such an example of grace and understanding and care that it really affected me because I didn't know what was going to come from all of this. I didn't know how anyone would respond.
Right.
You know, I thought by now I'd be in the middle of like legal drama, and that hasn't hit me. But what has actually happened has been this other thing where people like you, and especially you, because we've connected, have been telling me these stories about action that you and Russ have taken in the coffee shop, in the community. And I did want to ask you about that, because your response to us and to me seemed to just ignite something in you, and how you serve the community and what it means to be a business. I think what was really disheartening going through all of that was just saying, we're running a business that staff have to be at to work and make their money, that customers come to because they trust the business.
Right.
And that was eroded immediately. I mean, had already been slowly eroding, but there was that watershed moment where it just broke through and showed you can't be a business who doesn't think about who's there, you know? And
Exactly.
But you were so intentional, you and Russ were so intentional to think how Little Joy could meet the moment. So I wanted to ask you about like all the things you did, because you sent me so many messages about like all these amazing actions and initiatives you were taking on that I think will define not just you and Russ, but the shop and how people do business in Dallas and in other cities in general. So to me, it wasn't just this big movement. It was like the ripple effect, which was more important because it becomes something that affects other people's lives. So I did want to ask you, like, what all did y'all, I want to know, because you've told me already, but there was so much that it seemed like y'all did in response.
Well, thank you. I think I had been feeling like you, like helpless.
Right.
I hate feeling helpless. I hate it. And it makes me crazy. And I feel like I was listening to this podcast, and this woman said that action is the antidote to anxiety. And I have taken that to heart, and I'm like, what is someone gonna do? And I guess during the last election, who won? We're not gonna say his name. It's like Voldemort in here, we don't speak of it. And like, anyone who knows me is like, that's not a surprise, right?
That's great, yeah, we don't have to do that.
I felt so helpless. And I felt so helpless watching, you know, friends that we're friends with and doctors being like prosecuted by Ken Paxton for helping trans kids. And it's like every day it was getting worse. And I just felt this like, how can we make an impact? And sometimes you don't really know. It's not like a big moment,
Right.
you know, like it was more of like, okay, we're going to take this business and we are going to pour into the community. And Russ and I call it like a love letter to the community.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, what does that mean?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. It's like, what does that mean? Okay, we're gonna be very intentional with hiring. We're gonna be very intentional with only really working with women. And we're gonna give people opportunities. And we had the Little Joy on the Block party. And we had so many different vendors, and we had from all over the community. And it's like, we are well aware, like, of our privilege. It's like, we are white humans in Dallas, Texas. It's like, and we're straight. And it's like, that comes with a privilege, and like it or not. And I think for people to be like, oh, it's just happening, don't worry about it. It's like, no, you have to be louder. You have to be louder. And maybe turning 40 this year, I'm not really sure, but it's like somewhere along the way, that feeling of hopelessness, like, it clicked, and it was like, I don't want to feel hopeless anymore. We're going to fight back in a way that we can.
Yeah.
And we just started fighting every day. And sometimes I feel like it doesn't feel like fighting. Sometimes it does feel like fighting.
Right.
But it just feels like we have to be intentional, and we have to back up what we do. We can't just be full of shit. And like,
you can't be full of shit.
yeah, like we
Not
secretly
today.
donate to people who are trying to murder us.
Yeah.
You know, like we have to give with our money and our time and our voice.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that had been stirring all the work we've been doing here at Little Joy since last May. And then it's like it all collided like a lightning bolt when I saw your post, and I was like, we can say something. We can do something. Like we can take a stand too. And I don't know if we would have taken such a big stand. I don't know if we would have given 100% of everything, you know, like, but your words and you as a person like hit something deep within me, and it just ignited it.
Yeah, I love that. It's amazing. I feel it's easy to like keep hidden certain parts because there's this need to protect yourself, you know? And
I just got fired up. Sorry,
I know you did. It's great. No, I love you're making me feel the same way. But it is one of those things that's this sort of like ignition and action that takes to. Well, I mean, we're facing like an actual empire. I mean, I really,
Murder.
yeah, like we're watching things happen that not only shouldn't happen, but that we don't even often know how to stop, you know? And there's so many moments that maybe are given to us that we don't always know how to take action on. But I think once people start doing it and once it becomes like rhythmic in the heartbeat of the community, because again, we're both white, you know, and we've had our own issues and abuses and things we've had to face in life, but we don't always know what other people are going through, and like being willing to put ourselves on the line for people. That's what I remember telling my staff that when all of this was happening. We were talking about just these things that were being put in place, these policies, being frustrated with them and not knowing exactly what to do. And then once I tried to sit down with everybody one-on-one to tell them what I was going to do, because I wanted them to know how much I cared about them. And I told them it was very important for them to see, like, a manager, you can have hundreds of managers in your life. You might. And the thing to me that was most important about being a manager was being people's mentors and showing them like a way to, like, setting an example on how to live. Because I didn't want people, like, you can get coffee anywhere, you know? She should get it at Little Joy because it's very good. But, you know, coffee is ubiquitous. It's all over the place. And so for me, it wasn't just about making sure customers were happy. My main purpose, my main drive in managing a team was to care for them and to like give to them and to pour myself into them like I do my children or like I do my friends and family. And I wanted to set an example for them. And I love how I watched them. They set an example for me. And so it just became this like feedback loop of us just showing each other how to live. And then you see people like you and Russ in the community doing the same thing, but also learning from the community at the same time about what's the best way to act. Like I could feel compelled to do this thing, but maybe it needs to be redirected this way or vice versa, you know, of having like open communication with the city and the people of the city. So
that is such a good point because when we first decided we were going to donate to another really big nonprofit and everything looked beautiful, like it looks like the website was scrubbed on only positive things, and I was like, great. And as soon as we announced that's who we were going to give to, instantly we started hearing from the community saying, no, you need to give to Vecinos Unidos. That's who you need. Let me connect you to Noemi. Let me connect you, and this is who you need to. And it was like, oh, thank you. Like, there's no way we can know everything, but we can listen and we can grow. And I think, you know, some people can be like, no, I'm going to do it my way. It's like, maybe not.
Well, that's why we ended up in this situation in the first place. You know, people were, you know, didn't listen. Like that's the most important part of all of this, of any action, any like being part of a community is listening to each other. And I like we said earlier, I felt like Dallas has been so difficult to crack for me. And I know others who have felt the same way, but it's finally feels like a place where people, and maybe this is just my perspective. I don't know how other people feel about it, but also, you know, you spend people like me, like trans people, disenfranchised, vulnerable people groups, we spend a lot of times like hiding because we don't want to be too exposed, you know? But I guess at some point you do have to like be present in the community, no matter how difficult it is, because you also, the main thing for me is learning to trust the community and know that like we have our best interest in mind and care and so. This
is such a good example of that.
It is.
Okay, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, I wanna talk about what's next.
To connect with today's guest, Margot Stacy, you can follow her on Instagram at MisonSen.
The last thing I want to ask you about is what's next? I feel like you are a firecracker and it's not going to go out. You know, it's like one of those.
It hasn't for 37 years. I don't think it's at risk to anytime soon.
It's like a magic one on Harry Potter, you know, that just like continues and continues. Like, what's next? I know you have 3 boys and you talk about them a lot and they sound awesome.
Yeah, they are awesome. It's a circus.
We have 2 and it's crazy all the time. In terms of your work, I know we've talked about a memoir. If that could be coming. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? Like how are we going to channel this?
I don't I don't quite know yet, and I think I'm being very patient now. In the past, I would feel very stressed in these moments, feel a lot of anxiety, but I'm thankful right now that I can take a little time to let things simmer so I know where to go next, because I don't know. I really don't know. I am a writer. Last year I started working on a memoir. It's going to be called Margaret. It's about my great aunt Margaret, who's Margot is where that came from, and so she was in the South. She was one of the greatest clairvoyants that lived in the South in Mississippi, where I grew up. Yeah.
Oh.
And people would visit from all over the world to meet with her, and I remember she was such an affecting presence and person in my life early on. So whenever I was picking my name years ago, I picked Margot because in tribute to Margaret. So I'm going to write a story a memoir weaving our stories together, because she's never had her own story properly told. So my family's really excited about the prospect of having her story told too. So
okay, I didn't know this. This is amazing. Did she ever have any premonitions or anything about your life?
I don't know, but I've had my family because I haven't seen her. I mean, she passed away years ago, and then kind of early in my childhood, I was kept away from her because of who she was.
Because you were super Christian,
yeah,
right?
because I grew up very evangelical. And so at some point, we had a break and I didn't get to see her as much.
Oh.
But so also being named Margot is in tribute to the women I was kept from. So it's very I've had family members speak about her to me, and speak how she was and affirm a lot of how I am and who I am in her person.
Oh, that's
and in her
awesome.
Story. Yeah. So it just made sense to tell our stories together.
What happened now, is that going to be woven into the memoir?
That
kept separate?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I'm very write as I go. It's very stream of consciousness that I write. So I'm not sure what will come up. I don't know what will come up yet. I have no outline, but I've written about 20 pages, so we'll see where it goes.
Well, one thing I would love to share is my husband called you the female Batman because you can do truly anything. One thing that we're going to bring to the shop, we've been looking for merch and shirts. We get asked all the time, and we're going to work with you on that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love making shirts. I've been doing it for so long.
I literally put, for my goals for this quarter, find a merch provider.
It's the clairvoyance, babe. That's where it's coming from.
I'm here for it. Okay, one thing I do like to ask, though, is, on this journey that you're on, right? You don't know exactly what's next, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I know I want to build into the community more. I did want to say, I've been active within activist groups for years.
Yeah.
It's where this knowledge, it's the action that we made at work. That's the only reason I knew how to do that is because I've been studying people's movements and liberation movements.
Of course.
For a long time, you know?
Gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah, and so I know that a key component to revolutionary movement is to take power over your own labor and realize how that affects everything, the economy, or the world we live in. And so I knew it would affect change because it was people standing up for their own rights against the people who profit off them or exploit them. And so that was very important to me. So since everything has happened, I've joined an activist group called Y'all. I was invited to, based on the Instagram post and everything happening.
Amazing.
It's the Young Active Labor Leaders, and it's the Dallas branch. So I'm working with that. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to try to find places to plug in there. I've been setting up a network, a system of trying to get ex-baristas and people who want to leave the company we quit. I want to give them the ability to source jobs a little easier. So I built a spreadsheet with all the people that reached out. So I just really love connecting people. And so whatever happens next will be more in the line of how can I connect people? How can I empower people and support our community?
I literally just had an idea listening to you. I was like, we should do a Y'all event here, and you should speak.
That would be amazing.
We should do a fundraiser. We should do it.
Okay.
I love connecting too.
Yeah.
That's
I
how
know
our
you
brains
do. That's
work.
why we're speaking today.
I know.
Yeah.
It literally is when I'm talking to you, I'm like, oh, what can we do? And it's to find a kindred spirit is really rare.
I know. It is really rare.
I know. I'm just so grateful and honored. But I do want to know, day to day, like what brings you joy? Just it could be something silly, something fun, something deep, just so we can know that about you.
It really is the little things.
Yeah.
I love playing basketball with my kids. I love talking to them. I think I don't remember being talked to as much as a child, so getting to know my kids and building and pouring to them, spending time with them and my wife. I love just hanging out with my wife at home. We like to cook and we're silly, and it really is the little joys, you know? Like I really find a lot of big joy in those things because that's what they build. And so I just like I like connecting with my friends, with my family, and that's really it.
Amazing. What if someone wants to get a hold of you? What's the best way? Is it your Instagram? Is it email? Like what's the best way?
Instagram, it's derived from a French term, but that's like a film term. It's mise en scène. It's MISC.
Okay.
ENSCENE.
Okay. We'll put it in the show notes too.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. You can reach me on Instagram. I'm always on Instagram.
Okay.
Also, Margot with a T at misenscene.com is my email. So if people want to reach out, or just don't say anything mean in my emails. If you do, I mean, you can.
I'll come after them if they say something. I'll be like your bodyguard.
Yeah.
No.
I love going off on people in emails. So actually, if you want to be mean, please. So
I love it. That brings me joy. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being, not even brave, because it's just who you are.
Yeah.
So thank you for just being you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being you. I'm glad we connected. I'm glad we found kindred, like sister spirits that we can just do this with. So.
Sister spirits.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to another incredible episode of Joy is My Middle Name. I'm extra sweaty this time, but you know what? That means it was a really good, deep episode. Thank you for listening. And again, like Margot said, we'll put everything in the show notes if you want to reach out. See you next time. Joy is My Middle Name is now streaming on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Don't forget to like and subscribe.